reminder, too many men on the ice.
All right, everybody, welcome back to Too Many Men, the podcast. This is our third episode. And this week, starting off, we're going to talk about the college football rankings.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Well, they came out with the 4 teams that have made it into the college football playoff.
Some
And
disappointing stuff to see.
In the semifinals, we got Alabama versus Oklahoma and Clemson versus Notre Dame. Ohio State, 6th. Georgia, 5th. And there are a lot of people that believe that
UCF.
Georgia, with 2 losses, deserve to be in the Final Four because they are the 4th best team in the nation. They only lost to Alabama by 7. But in a world where you have 2 teams very close to them with only 1 loss, I don't think you can put a 2-loss team in the tournament, no matter how good they are.
I don't know how you have a 12-0 team in 8th.
Well, in a perfect world, it would be 13-0, 13-0, 12-0, and 12-0 in the Final Four.
Yep.
But I think we can all see which way this is going. This is eventually leading to an expansion. It's eventually got to be an 8-team playoff.
It's got to be. I think it should be more. Look at how many college teams there are. Why is the
once you
playoff
get
only 4?
Then you get some of these 3-loss teams.
I understand that, but in the NFL, you have teams that lose 8 and still make it into the playoffs.
Well,
There's only 32 teams in the NFL.
yeah, and that's a method that goes strictly by record. This doesn't.
No, I think that's stupid.
Well, that's how college sports is, unfortunately.
That's why college sports are stupid.
So, John, you have a
Boys are
prediction here? Do you think Oklahoma stands a chance against Alabama?
Let's be honest, no.
stupid. No.
It's Alabama.
They don't have the defense to do it. It's that Big 12 defense. There is none.
I mean, do we know if Tua is supposed to be healthy by then, or is he
I don't think
done?
it even matters. I think
Yeah, honestly.
Jalen Hurts is...
True. Yeah, let's just, your Heisman player quarterback got hurt, just put in your other guy.
Who do you think's going to win the Heisman? 3 finalists are Tua, Kyler Murray, and Dwayne Haskins from Ohio State.
What do you think, Trish? I'd have to say Tua, going off that.
I don't know. I guess I'll go with your statement, John.
And I think we find out Saturdays the last 2 games have no implication. The semifinal and the final have no implication on Heisman voting. I'd like to see Kyler Murray win. I think Dwayne Haskins is the best quarterback out of the 3, but I think it's going to be Tua. It doesn't matter that he only played like half that last game. He's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner. They said since basically week 4 of the college football season, it was his trophy to lose anyway. So he should be the one who ends up with the trophy at the end of the day. So I asked you before if you had a prediction. Well, first I'll ask you again. Do you think Oklahoma could beat Alabama?
No, like you were saying before, Oklahoma's defense is just not enough to contain Alabama. When you look at Alabama's roster, you see dozens of players who could potentially make an NFL roster one day, and their talent level just far exceeds Oklahoma's.
Yeah. Who do you think's going to... What about Clemson, Notre Dame?
That one's a little bit more tough to call.
I don't think it is.
What would you say?
I'd say Clemson.
Clemson?
Yeah.
I'd love to see Notre Dame.
I think Clemson just got the way better team.
That's true. It's just going to be the same final. Clemson, Alabama.
I'd love to see Oklahoma, Clemson. It's not going to happen.
We'd all love to see that, but isn't this just the fact Bama's going to make it there?
Yeah, of course. So you say Bama's going to win the championship?
Like every year.
Trish is nodding his head in agreement with John over there.
I agree.
Well, I like Clemson.
I think when you look at Roll Tide, it's not even a competition. It's just
I want the third matchup in the Clemson-Alabama series here in the college football playoff era. And I want to see Clemson take a 2-1 series lead there.
I don't think it's going to happen.
It happened before.
I know it's happened before, but I don't think it's going to happen again. This Alabama team is probably the best we've seen in a while.
Until the last Alabama team was the best one we saw in a while.
They just keep getting better.
Well, that's what happens when you perennially get 5 NFL first-round picks each year.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that'll
They have such talent on their team. Like, you can't compete with it.
Well, that concludes our college football playoff portion of the episode.
Who even cares about college football?
Well,
On to the real sports.
Most of
A
the
lot of
nation.
people care about
Most
it.
of the
real
nation.
sports.
On to reels. Wow. Okay.
I'm just kidding for everybody in the South.
Yep. Trish, where's Notre Dame?
Notre Dame?
Yep.
It's not in the South. I thought it was in Louisiana.
It's
but
not.
It's not. It's in that one state that has an I in it.
A lot of states have an I in it, Trish.
I understand that, but it does. It starts with an I,
Yes, it does.
and it's not Idaho.
No, it is not Idaho.
Illinois.
Nope.
Damn it.
You want to tell him what state it is?
Nope, because there's
Indiana.
only one. That's it. There's the only
Yeah.
state left to start with an I. You had to guess.
That's not true.
What other state starts with
What
an I?
other state?
You said Idaho and Illinois.
That's
Yeah. Okay, you just sit on that. Let me know. We're going
Alright,
to transition
here we
now
go.
to
NBA.
the National Basketball Association. John's favorite sport.
Yes.
Indeed.
John,
Alright.
this is your.
So, John, what's been going on over the weekend?
Over the weekend, yesterday you had Toronto Raptors facing up against the Denver Nuggets, scorching hot Denver Nuggets, who've won 6 in a row, who ended the Raptors' 8-game winning streak.
Oh, they did end it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if you saw any of those highlights from that game.
I
but
saw the
quite a-
highlight that the shot that didn't count.
Yeah, quite the hectic
Who
end
shot
of
that?
game.
Was that Jokic?
That was Jokic.
Yeah, that was ridiculous for a big man to just throw it two-hand overhead pass it into the hoop.
Why did that not count?
Because it was a foul on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
But, I swear, watching Jokic, people say the best centers in the NBA right now, Karl Anthony Towns, Embiid. When you look at Jokic, he's literally a 7-foot Magic Johnson-esque point guard in a center's body.
Yeah.
It's quite insane to see. He had a triple-double yesterday, and I believe, I looked at some stats this morning, he's the best passing big man over the past, 20 years, without question. Stats alone.
Well, we got a special news flash from the NBA. The Knicks still suck.
The Knicks suck. We beat the Bucks. Did you see that?
You say we, John.
I am a Knicks fan.
That sucks.
Yeah, I know. What are you, a Nets fan?
No, I don't
Look
have.
at those Cavaliers, baby.
I don't have a basketball affiliate. Yeah, they beat the Nets.
Yeah,
What
Yeah,
was
they
that guy's name? Who Kyle Korver got traded for?
Alec Burks.
Alec Burks did he have the game-winning dunk
Yeah,
in the
the
Nets
game-winning dunk. That was nasty. He went behind the back on that too. But
yeah.
yeah, the Knicks. I don't know what you're talking about, Tony.
Rockets got smacked.
Well, they got 5 wins, 6 wins the Knicks.
I think 7.
Ooh, 7.
7
Dave
wins.
Fizdale really turning that organization around. Let me tell you.
They're above. They're above.
8 wins.
They're above my prediction to make the Eastern Conference Finals. The
8
Cleveland
wins.
Cavaliers. So
Take that for data.
let's talk a little bit about Frank. How do you say his name?
Ntilikina?
Yeah, whatever you said. And he's been benched. I don't know if you saw that, but he's not
Ooh.
getting minutes anymore for Emmanuel Mudiay, who we traded for a second rounder last year. So that's interesting. That gives you a lot of faith in our top 8 pick from last year.
Yeah.
But Kevin Knox, when you look at him, he had 26 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That's some potential.
Hard Knocks.
Exactly.
Fort Knox would have been a better nickname.
Fort Knox would be a good nickname.
Hard Knocks is that football show.
Yeah,
isn't
but
it?
he spells it like Fort Knox.
Does he?
Yes.
K-N-O-X.
Yes.
Dope.
See those Timberwolves jerseys last night? The
Which
throwback
one?
ones? The Kevin Garnett era ones?
Oh, I love those.
Those are beautiful.
Those are classic jerseys.
Nah,
I'm glad they brought
that
those back.
concludes our Timberwolves coverage for the year.
Yes.
Hey, you never know. They could end up in the playoffs this year.
They're going to end up in the playoffs, but it doesn't matter. Because
yeah.
once DeMarcus Cousins comes back, the Warriors are going to be the Warriors again. Well, they won last night, I believe.
It's easy to think about that when you're talking about the
Yeah, they beat the
NBA.
Hawks. They crushed the Hawks.
The Wolves held the Rockets to
128
fucking
to
9
111.
points in the fourth quarter yesterday. 9 points. The Houston Rockets. They suck.
I think in the West there, the Clippers are still rolling along pretty nicely. It was 129, 126 yesterday. I think Doc Rivers is your early candidate there for Coach of the Year.
Yeah, who saw them,
Nobody.
Yeah, exactly. Winning as many games as they have with the roster that they have. They don't even have, a single, I wouldn't say a bona fide star.
16-7.
16-7. Is that good for, the 1 seed? In the West, I don't know. It's all so close nowadays. It's kind of hard to tell.
Well, there's only one team really you can look at in the West right now and say they're not going anywhere this season. They're not even gonna have a chance at a playoff spot. That's Phoenix,
Yeah.
dead last in the West.
I saw
They're just a bad franchise, man.
they were. They only scored 9 points in the first quarter of this game that's currently going on against the Kings.
Oh, the Nuggets now have claimed the top spot in the West.
Oh, the Nuggets and the
At 16
Clippers
and 7.
at the 2 seed.
Yeah, it goes Nuggets, Clippers, Thunder, Warriors, Lakers, Grizzlies, Trailblazers, and the Mavericks rounded out.
Damn, the Mavericks.
We all know by the spring, the Warriors are going to be in the first place.
Exactly. Well, they might not be in first place
They're going to be in first place.
because I feel like a lot of them going to rest. They could go in as an 8 seed and I believe still win the NBA Finals. I don't think it matters.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yes, but it could. They'd have to play those guys anyway.
Mhm.
That's true.
Did you see how Cousins is now finally practicing 5-on-5?
Yeah, he's starting to ramp up.
So, well, the league's already been.
Let me just give you a little bit. Let me just give you a little bit of a showing here on how bad the Phoenix Suns actually are. Every other team in the West has double-digit wins. The Suns have 4.
The 14th seed in the West is closer to the 1 seed than the 15th seed.
Didn't Devin Booker? That's his name, right?
Yeah.
John, that's how math works.
Devin Booker said he wants the big 3 to come to him.
Hold on. Did anyone hear what John just said? John just said the 14th seed is closer to the 1 seed than the 15th seed.
John.
That is how math works, John.
The 14th seed is closer to the 1 seed than the 15th seed is closer to the 14th seed.
That's what I meant to say.
That's what John meant.
That is what I meant to say.
John
The Suns have
literally
dropped their
just
last
left
5.
it at what he said.
The Suns have dropped their last 5.
This is where I announce my retirement.
In their last 10, the Suns are 2-8.
Oof, you hate to see it.
Yeah,
DeAndre
but-
Ayton, what are you doing, man?
Devin Booker, I want the big 3 to come to me. I want them all to come to Phoenix. Who the fuck's gonna come to Phoenix?
You saw his
Exactly.
quote before the season saying, "I'm done with not making the playoffs." How's that going, Booker?
The only way he's gonna be done with not making the playoffs is leaving Phoenix.
Exactly.
And even then,
He's
there's
not,
only 2 places he can go where it's a definite.
I don't know about you, but I've never been hot on Devin Booker. I think he's overrated. I think if he was on a better team, his stats would go way down. I think it's just like one of those bad teams, good stats kind of players, like Kevin Love on those Wolves teams all those years ago.
Now, it's a completely different story in the East, whereas in the West, 14 teams have double-digit wins. In the East, only 9 do. And the Wizards are making a blazing run at the Hornets at the 8th seed. Wizards are now 10-14. But in the East, we got the Raptors at 20-5 in first, then the Bucks, Sixers, Pistons, Pacers, Celtics, Magic, and the Hornets round out the top 8.
Magic just keep moving up.
Oh yeah, they're no longer in 8th. Now a 500 team in 7th place.
Oh yeah.
Better watch out. Something's brewing down there in Orlando, giving them flashbacks of the Shaq days, Shaq and Penny.
Seeing a .500 next to their name is scary, man. I'm not used to
Yeah,
it.
not after the second game of the season. Yeah, it really is.
I find
And
it so
then you got
funny
the
that
Bulls, Hawks, and Cavaliers who all have 5 wins.
In first place is the Raptors with 20 wins and 5 losses with a .800.
If you
Then you
combine,
got second place.
if you combine the Cavaliers, Hawks, Bulls, and Suns wins, they wouldn't have as many wins as the first place Raptors.
Nope.
They'd have 19.
Yeah, looking at it, I always hate, how it's based on percentage. I know it makes sense and everything based on record,
Well,
but when you see,
of course
just,
it makes sense because at the end of the day, everybody plays the same amount of
Sure.
games. It's not like there could be a tie thrown in.
I don't know, aesthetically it looks wrong seeing the Bucks at 15
Well,
and
yeah,
7.
because and they're ahead of this,
Stop! Can you just stop, Trish?
and they're ahead of the Sixers who are 17-8. It's just because their win percentage is 0.02 of a point better, of a percentage better.
Alright,
Well,
so-
let's give a whip around here in the NBA scores from tonight. Let's look at some of the ones that won final. The Magic, red hot, win again, beat the Heat, 105-90, and the Pacers beat the Bulls. The Pacers continue the slide. Pacers just fired Fred Hoiberg. See that?
And you mean the Bulls
That's
fired
what I
Fred
meant.
Hoiberg.
The
Yeah.
Pacers fired him. The
The
Bulls
Bulls.
fired him.
The Bulls fired him. And if you ask me, they should just clean house in that front office at this point too. Fire the GMs.
Remember when they thought D Wade was gonna be a good idea?
They signed D Wade and Rondo.
Yeah.
The same and put him with Jimmy Butler, and they're like, yeah, take that shit to the playoffs.
And I know when you're listening to this won't be the scores, but currently it's 70-56 Mavericks in the third quarter, 63-47 Jazz over the Spurs at halftime, and 68-40 Kings over the Suns at halftime. Let's just chalk up another win for the Kings. The Suns aren't coming back from a 28-point deficit.
Click on that Mavs game real quick. I want to see how Luka Doncic is doing. That rookie has been killing it all year.
Yeah, I know. He's been a solid player at the quarter point of the season.
Imagine trading him for Trae Young, right?
Yeah.
And then you look at Atlanta, who's in, I think it's they're second to last in the East, or is that
They're all tied.
They're all tied, but they all have 5
Luka
wins.
Doncic right now, 21 minutes played. He's got 6 rebounds, 1 assist, and 13 points. Him and Dennis Smith Jr. could be a very lethal combination there down the line.
Yeah, how old is Dennis too? I think they're all around like 20-something years old,
Yeah,
so they
they're
have plenty
young,
of room to
man.
grow.
And then you got Dirk, who hasn't played yet tonight, who probably won't. I think he's resting.
I think has he come back yet? I haven't seen him.
Is he hurt?
I know he got like an ankle surgery to begin the season, so that's why I hadn't seen him.
Well, that concludes our NBA coverage because nothing's really changed that much since Thursday.
Oh, and that's not entirely true. I mean, look at the Philadelphia 76ers and their first round draft pick from the year beforehand, Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Markelle Fultz, the news came out today that he had a nerve disorder?
Thoracic outlet syndrome.
Thoracic outlet syndrome, and it hinders movement in his arms.
Mm-hmm.
You need arms to play basketball.
Which is the explanation on why his shot is so messed up right now. At least that's what they're going with. But it can be fixed with physical therapy.
Supposedly, meaning that there's supposedly something wrong with him.
Well, if he can gain full movement back in his arms and everything, or his shoulders, I'm not 100% sure what this is doing to his form. That's great. You got the movement back. Now you got to get your shot back. You got to relearn your shot. It's going to be a long process coming back here. We might not see anything from Markelle Fultz till March because of it, or maybe a little bit earlier, like right after the All-Star break. But it's been a real disappointing tenure for Markelle Fultz as a Sixer so far.
So far, and it's clouded in so much confusion about what's really going on with him. Because the news about this diagnosis came today, but this has
been going on for a while now.
Mm-hmm. This is like the 10th physical therapist or something he met with, and I read that this is the only one who said that he couldn't play.
Yeah.
So I find that interesting. I feel like what could be going on, and this is just my theory, is his camp is just trying to delay the inevitable news of him getting out that he has a mental issue, and so they just went with the one doctor who would back up that story.
Yeah. I don't think it's mental, though.
You think?
You think he has the yips?
That's what I would have. That's my best guess for it, because you see him go for a pull-up jumper, and his jump shot looks fine. But then he's at the free throw, and it looks like he's never shot a basketball in his life.
Well, that with nerve disorders like that, it can come and go at any time.
Can it though?
You can re-aggravate it after a perfect form, and then your nerves don't work, and you can't get your arms where you want them to.
Well, I just hope the kid, eventually starts to figure it out. I give him a lot of crap here on this podcast, but in the end, I'm not going to root for the kid.
Yeah, we want to see him get back and be able to become an NBA player, but whether or not you're going to see that this season is really up in the air because he's out indefinitely.
Yeah, best of luck to the kid.
But I wouldn't be surprised if you see him coming off the bench maybe late March, early April, before playoff, but I wouldn't expect him to get much time in the playoffs.
Who do you think comes back? What was that rookie who had the allergic reaction and almost died? Zaire Smith. Who comes back first, Fultz or him?
Probably Smith.
Hopefully. I heard that kid, he lost 20 pounds from that allergic reaction. So I don't know what kind of shape he's in. Hopefully he's healthy, just in general if he can get out of bed. I heard
but this could possibly be something that the shot never comes back. Yeah. And that's the thing you don't know about it.
Have you ever? What other high-profile cases of the yips are there in any other major sports? I know it happens a lot in the MLB with pitchers. Anyone else been able to successfully come back and break the yips?
Out of a prized rookie?
Yeah,
top 5 pick.
Closest thing to this was look no further than the Eagles with the Aguilar. He couldn't catch for the longest time. Saw a sports psychologist.
Maybe Jared Goff his first season. He was a little gun shy.
That's true.
But other than that, it's usually more just chalked up as growing pains rather than as the yips.
Yeah, more often than not, they still show flashes of like
Of
the reason they were
brilliance,
picked.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, long term, maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens with Markel Fultz, and hope that the kid gets his.
Yeah, you hope for him to get better and hope be able to return here and make a difference on a Sixers team that, they believe is pressing for a championship, although we all think that the Warriors going to be able to win it at the end. But who knows? It could Toronto could easily sneak up here and win this championship. And we call them sneaking up even though they're first in the East. Everybody's trying to sneak up on the Warriors and beat them. That's what it is.
It's more who goes to the finals to play the Warriors.
Yeah, and you know how many teams would be so happy if somehow the Warriors got out in like the first or second round?
Oh, man. Literally everyone.
Then there'd be a real race for the championship for the first time in like 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, are we done with basketball, John?
I think that about covers it. I mean, Markel Fultz, that's about it.
Trish, you got anything else to say about basketball?
Basketball, no, but our next topic, yes.
Well, that's what Trish had his eyes so wide open. We're transitioning to the NHL. And, well, where do you want to start with this, Trish? The Lightning and Red Wings are currently in overtime. I have money on the Lightning to win.
Oof.
The Red Wings were winning that game, I think, 2-0, and the Lightning came back.
Yep.
The Jets...
Now it's 5-5.
Whip around the scores here. The Penguins beat the Avalanche 6-3. The Panthers shut out the Bruins 5-0. The Flames throw 9 on Columbus and beat them 9-6. The Jets beat the Islanders 3-1. The Maple Leafs and Sabres are currently tied at 3 in overtime. The Red Wings and Lightning are currently tied at 5 in overtime. The Canadiens beat the Senators today 5-2. And the Wild and Canucks just started their 0-0. And the Golden Knights and the Capitals in a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup final have an early lead jumped out here by Vegas.
1-0.
1-0. And then the Kings and Coyotes play later tonight at 10:30.
I'm more interested in last night's scores.
We'll take a look at last night because there's 3 games on the slate last night. Predators beat the Sabres. Stars beat the Oilers. I picked the Stars to win, the Oilers to win. I did not know Connor McDavid did not play last night. And then you got the Lightning smacking the Devils 5-1.
That was hurtful.
That was it looked like an NHL team playing a minor league team. It really did.
It was really bad. The Devils really need to figure out what they're doing. I think the only move at this point is to fire the head coach and put someone who's actually going to be competent.
We're starting to get to that point in the season where you might see teams start making moves with coaches. We saw the Flyers already make one with a general manager. It might be time for the Devils to make a move at coach because this is a season where the Devils had a lot of hope going in.
And they've got a lot of talent, which is the problem.
Coming off a surprising playoff appearance, there's a lot of hope and optimism that this team could get back. But the lack of offseason moves left some doubt. Players like Yakovlev have stepped up, though. Igor Yakovlev, who scored his first career NHL goal last night. The one bright spot in an otherwise terrible game from the Devils. But this is a change that many didn't see coming, especially since it's a young coach, and that they thought players like Hischier and Bratt would take their next step. And while with Hischier, it's might have been a little bit of a slow next step, Bratt has excelled. It hasn't been enough.
I think we have the talent. It's the coaching. And our goaltending.
You heard from John Hines yesterday. Well, the coach's name is John Hines. We haven't said that yet.
Oh, sorry, yes.
We heard from him yesterday, and it sounds like he lost the locker room. He benched last year's MVP with 7 minutes he played one shift in the third period, and that was at 7 minutes and 20 seconds left in the third. Taylor Hall did not see the ice again that night.
Didn't he also bench him in the second?
He did bench him in the second, and he played one shift in the third.
What's his reasoning for doing something like that?
Poor play.
I mean, you said he was the last year's MVP.
Yes, he was.
I mean, I feel like if you
the Lightning and Red Wings are going to a shootout.
You can't just lose fate. Like, you have to keep playing them, your star.
Exactly. You would think if he is working through something, he's got to get out of it somehow. Mm-hmm. The only way to do that is to play him.
John Hines doesn't understand how to coach this team apparently anymore because I don't know whether he's practicing him too hard or he's not practicing him hard enough or he's not gaining the respect he needs from this team. But whatever's going on, last night was just horrible.
Canucks have taken a 1-0 lead over the Minnesota Wild.
We couldn't complete a pass. We couldn't move the puck at all. Anytime we get into the neutral zone, we'd lose it. There were probably 4 or 5 breakaways that were caused by our team. and just turning over the puck in stupid ways.
The Maple Leafs have beaten the Buffalo Sabres with 10 seconds left in overtime.
Oh my.
3 seconds left in overtime.
It's really sad to see the Devils fall to where they are, because this team has such talent. We have so many goal scorers. Our first line should be absolutely deadly. We have Taylor Hall, Kyle Palmieri, and Nico Hischier. Taylor Hall, MVP of the league last year. Kyle Palmieri scored 2 goals in his first 4 games out.
Wait, what, this season?
Yeah.
He scored a goal his first 5 games.
Yeah. He scored 2 goals, didn't he, for the first 3 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Scored 2 goals for the first 3 games, and then also scored a goal in the first 5. And now he seems like he can't hit the net.
Well,
this team is losing confidence.
Well,
because
they have moved Palmieri off the top line, but the only reason why Palmieri was on the top line last night is because Bratt was sick. Bratt has been the top line player as of late. Same thing as we saw at the beginning of last season, which he deserves to be. He's got a tremendous shot, and he knows when to use it. And the Devils go on a West Coast road trip. You're hoping some bonding can come, the team can grow. It's the California trip, so you got L.A., Anaheim, and San Jose. Some teams near the bottom of the division out there, not pushovers, but still beatable teams, especially for this team. You go play an L.A. team that's wounded. They just got Jonathan Quick back, but they're missing their leading point scorer in Ilya Kovalchuk because he's out 4 weeks with an ankle injury. And you play a Ducks team that's been underperforming the whole season, and a Sharks team where Erik Karlsson is not bringing what they thought. And now there's talk in San Jose that Erik Karlsson might not want to resign there come the offseason, which would be a huge blow to San Jose considering all that they gave up for him. But the real news with the National Hockey League today was, I don't know if you two saw this, the NHL unanimously approved a 32nd NHL team.
Seattle, baby.
Seattle. The NHL will be expanding into Seattle for the 2021-2022 season.
That'll be interesting to see.
And there are some...
Have they picked a name yet?
No. They won't pick a name.
For some time, right?
Yeah, probably till at least next year.
They were thinking. They had a couple names.
They do. They have some names. Some names trademarked already. You got the Emeralds, the Sockeye, which I am in favor for. You got the Kraken, the Metropolitans, the Eagles. Teams where you can see them wearing green.
Mm-hmm.
The Totems were one of them. But this is huge, not just for the National Hockey League expanding to yet another market, but it's also huge for the NBA.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's getting upgrades to the Key Arena, which is ultimately what forced the Supersonics out.
Mm-hmm.
And the hope of the team that leads the funding for the Seattle hockey team hopes someday to bring an NBA team to Seattle again.
Mm-hmm. In the league, the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has talked about wanting to expand, and Seattle has to be one of the first places they're looking to in the future.
But you look at expansion. Well, the NBA can do it
Mm-hmm.
because they're at 30 teams. You move to 32, you're not really messing with anything there.
Mm-hmm.
But the NHL has talked about expanding more too. That another expansion could come by the year 2028. And you'd have to add 4 teams just to make sure the divisions are equal. You can't equal out divisions with 34 teams.
Yeah, for parity's sake.
Exactly. And if you're a 36-team league, the worry has to be there that does that dilute the talent in the league at all? Because there's less superstars to go around then. But you're also getting a lot more players in the league that could be unknowns. Like you get that 7th round pick that turns into the superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And there are still cities, the Lightning have beaten the Red Wings in a shootout. There are still cities that felt like they were really looked over with this expansion process. Quebec City's been dying for a team since the NHL took theirs away in 1996. Hartford wanted to apply. The NHL is looking hard at Houston. That's the largest market in the United States that they do not have a team in.
I didn't know that they didn't have a hockey team.
Dallas has a team. Houston doesn't.
Yeah.
Would that also... Oh, no. Never mind.
What?
I was going to ask if that would be the first state with multiple teams, but it's a really dumb question.
And New York has 3.
Yeah, New York's got 3. You got California.
If you're looking for 4 markets for an NHL expansion, because you need 4. It's got to be 36 teams.
Mm-hmm.
You need 4. Quebec, they already got the arena. Money's a little bit of an issue, but They got a dedicated enough fan base they can sell enough season tickets. Hartford, they got the arena. Just need some renovations like they have in Seattle. They got the fan base. Seen it before. Saw it in the 90s. Saw it in the 80s. That shouldn't be a problem.
Where else would you put teams?
Houston, large enough market, you can get a fan base together. Now, there's a fourth market. This is where it gets iffy. Maybe Salt Lake City can share the arena with the Jazz. Hopefully, you can get the same amount of people that go to Jazz games at hockey games. Hockey's kind of big there. They had the Olympics there, and it filled up pretty quick, the hockey games. Another way the NHL can look at it is relocation. Ottawa Senators are in trouble. Their owners not selling out games. They're putting tarps over upper-level seats to make it look like they're selling out games when they're not. They're losing money there. Maybe a team like that can relocate to Quebec. Teams like Florida, constantly empty seats in the crowd. Like, it's laughable.
I know.
There was a game last week. The attendance at the game was 7,000 people.
Jeez.
It was really sad.
So let me ask you this: if you were in NHL, a prospective owner, one of these expansion teams, what market would you want to prioritize? Where would you want to move your team to expand to?
Well, if I was
first?
an owner, the first thing I'd have a problem with is the expansion fee. For Vegas, it was $500 million. For Seattle, it's $650 million.
Oof.
But if I'm going to prioritize a market as an owner, I'm looking at 3.
Hartford.
That's not one of the ones I'm looking at, unfortunately. Too small. Quebec City,
Mm-hmm.
small market, but again, Canadian city. Houston, huge market. Hugest market in the United States without an NHL team. It's the only Big Four team they're missing. That might be an easy path. And then, I don't know if the league would want to try again. Maybe a third time in Atlanta after they took the Flames away and they took the Thrashers away. Maybe trying a third time there.
I don't think that's a smart move.
What went
I
wrong
don't
in?
think there's enough hockey fans in Atlanta.
So I'm not too familiar with that. What went wrong with the earlier Atlanta teams? It's
The
not popular?
Flames. No, the Flames team got sold and the owner just moved them to Calgary.
Oh, okay.
And then the Thrashers were losing money, sold, moved to Winnipeg.
Oh, dang.
The original Flames dispute was over they couldn't get an arena built, which is the same dispute now the Calgary Flames face because their city won't build them an arena.
They're going to move back to Atlanta.
Wouldn't that be something?
That would be something, let me
That'd be
tell
wild.
you. If they move another team out of Canada, people are going to have an uprising. So that's where we stand now with the National Hockey League. Now it's going to be a 32-team league. The Arizona Coyotes are moving to the Pacific Division. The Arizona Coyotes moving to the Central Division. And the Seattle franchise will be in the Pacific Division. So we have 8 teams in each division,
Oh, gotcha.
which is a good split.
Nothing's changing for the...
No, the East,
Metro.
nothing's changing. The whole Eastern Conference.
Okay.
So that's where it's going to sit. And then we'll see about some kind of expansion, maybe in 2028 and beyond. I know a lot of leagues are looking at expanding. The NFL talks about Europe. Recently, the NBA has been talking about Europe. I think the next league you're really going to see expand, if the NBA doesn't want to move to Seattle immediately, which is understandable after what happened last time. And if you get moved to Seattle, you got to move to one more. So maybe you put a team in Seattle in the NBA and maybe I was trying to think about this today. I couldn't think of really of another city that didn't have one. Maybe St. Louis.
In the NBA?
Yeah, maybe St. Louis, San Diego.
The cities I've heard floating around besides like Seattle, Vegas, they're definitely thinking about it.
Vegas has the arena now.
Mm-hmm.
And Vegas might copy the NHL model, think a sports team can work there. But there's a lot of problems in Vegas.
Definitely, yeah.
They're putting an NFL team there. I think you want to see how that goes first. You're putting the Raiders there.
Oh, so that's actually confirmed.
The Raiders are going to
the
Vegas?
Raiders are
Yeah,
going
the
to
Raiders have been going there for a few years now. They leave after the next 2 seasons.
Oh, they do? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So they're under contract still. That's what's
Yeah,
going
they're
on?
building a whole new stadium, state of the art, and everything.
Oh man.
And then I think the next league that's going to really look at expanding is Major League Baseball. 30 teams, looking to move to 32. Maybe put another franchise in Montreal. Maybe putting a franchise finally in the Carolinas. Don't know. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's time for Major League Baseball to expand. Maybe a league that is still very popular in this country, but maybe kind of being overshadowed a little bit by the National Football League. Maybe it's time to expand more to some other markets, and I think Carolina would be perfect for it.
Yeah, it's that when you look at Carolina, that's a pretty noticeable market that they're missing out on in the MLB.
Yeah, it's a state that's big with baseball.
Mm-hmm.
North Carolina, South Carolina. They should be there.
Definitely, without a doubt.
Well, week 13 of the National Football League.
Wild week.
Ooh.
What?
We all
What
made
week?
picks for week 13 at the beginning of last week.
I did the best.
No, you didn't.
You
Yeah, I
did the worst.
Trish went 8-8, the worst record.
Oh yeah,
John went 10-6, second,
loser.
and I went 11-5.
You're a loser.
Well, games we thought were going to be terrible weren't that terrible. That
No,
Cardinal
pretty
game wasn't that bad.
Yeah, honestly.
That Jag game was terrible. It was 6-0.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, that Rams-Lions game was interesting in the first half when the Rams eventually pulled away. Teams have trouble for some reason in Detroit this year. But we didn't see a huge change when it comes to top of divisions. Bears still holding steady even though they lost. Everybody else in their division lost. Chargers put some pressure on KC with a big win over the Steelers. Steelers in control of the NFC North, but the Ravens are on their tail. Patriots don't move. Still number one in the AFC East. Dallas still has the lead in the NFC East. Washington's been knocked out of the playoff picture. Colt McCoy's been knocked out for the season because he broke his leg too.
And the return of Mark Sanchez.
The Sanchez is now the starting quarterback down in Washington,
I just want
our
to.
nation's capital.
Everyone
now has to
saw-
deal with that.
Everyone saw him recover that fumble with his ass, right?
Yeah, butt fumble redemption.
Next, he's gonna force a fumble with it.
Yep.
Can't wait.
The current
Put him on defense.
The current playoff picture is this. AFC, we got the Chiefs at 1, the Patriots at 2. At 3, we have Houston, who's starting to heat up here.
Houston is scary.
I say
now.
starting to heat up. They won 9 straight. But they tore apart a team in Cleveland, which isn't that much of a surprise. There are people on ESPN, Fox Sports, who might have liked Cleveland in this game coming off 2 straight wins.
Yeah.
And the Texans put that to rest.
I like Cleveland.
He liked Cleveland.
Honestly, I mean, if you like.
And the
saw
Steelers
any
are
of
in
that-
4th.
Baker Mayfield had a rough start to that game. Three picks in the first half. He started to put it together a little bit more in the second half.
But it was too little, too late.
Too little, too late. I think he drew over 300 yards though in the second half. It just wasn't enough though.
But it's still in the wild card. Nothing's changed. Chargers 9-3, Ravens 7-5. Put some distance between them and the Colts. I wouldn't have to worry much about the Dolphins because the Dolphins should have lost that game against the Bills. Clay drops that ball in the end zone. He didn't expect Josh Allen to actually get the ball to him.
You saw
It was a ridiculous throw. He threw it across his body into the corner end zone from like 50 yards out.
the
One of the
video.
only quarterbacks in this league that can make that throw.
The Bills offensive coordinators. One of them collapsed on the ground in misery after he
Yeah.
missed it.
You see Jerry Hughes of the Bills called that ref a bitch.
I did not see that.
No, the ref called Jerry Hughes a bitch, and Jerry Hughes went off.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I saw Adam Thielen Bill Belichick told Adam Thielen to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, he did.
And yeah, I mean Adam Thielen did really need to stop talking shit. He looked like a whiny little baby
Yeah,
during that game.
he did. But that,
I mean,
somehow, some way, somewhere down the line, white wide receiver Adam Thielen's gonna end up a New England Patriot. I don't know how. I don't know when. I don't know why. It's just gonna happen.
eventually. All right, yeah, I want to ask you though. We were all pretty hot on the Colts last week when we were recording.
I wasn't expecting 6-0.
Yeah,
that
man.
was sad.
Jags defense. I wasn't expecting them to step up the way they did. And they had a chance at the end of the game to take the lead. A bad 4th down.
Mm-hmm.
Where I believe they should have kicked the field goal because they got the ball again. They could have kicked the field goal again. Sent it to overtime, at least at 6. But I'm thinking you're starting to get a look at how this is what the AFC is going to be.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's pretty much set in stone.
Some intrigue here with the Chargers playing the Chiefs soon. Could they flip-flop? If the Chiefs are a wild card team, they're going to destroy Pittsburgh.
Yeah. I think that the Chargers definitely have a very good chance. That team that played on Sunday night.
Speaking of Pittsburgh only has a half-game lead over the Lamar Jackson-led Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, that's tough to see. What do you think's gonna happen? Do you see this changing at all?
I
The
think
playoff
I think
picture in
it
the
could.
AFC at all or no? How so?
James Conner's questionable this weekend.
Oh, he's out actually. I heard
He is out now?
he is out. Yeah. It was the ankle sprain.
Another
now.
Steeler loss, another Raven win, and I believe we've seen the last of Joe Flacco when it comes to being the Ravens quarterback.
Yeah, I think so. That's probably the right move.
We could see a Raven home game here in January. I don't think it's going to matter because I think the Chargers will beat them. I would love to see Steelers Ravens in the first round of the playoffs. That'd be something.
Game.
Not going to happen, I don't think, but that would be something. But I think when it comes to the AFC, you're basically looking at it. Dolphins are 7th in the AFC, but I have no faith in the Ryan Tannehill-led Dolphins.
No.
Colts are 6-6. This was a blow, a big blow, I believe, losing to the Jags like that. Broncos are 6-6. I don't trust them. Titans are 6-6. I don't trust them. And then it's laughable to even consider the Bengals at 5-7.
The Titans are like, hey guys, we're in the playoff picture.
Yeah,
kind of.
Let's look at the NFC now. Rams have clinched their division already. 11-1 so far, 1 seed. Saints are 2 at 10-2. And the Rams have also, have they clinched the first round bye yet? No, they've just clinched a playoff berth in their division. Okay. That first round bye should be coming soon because the Bears lost and Cowboys lost, and I can't see either of them catching. Panthers fell apart against Tampa.
Yeah, that was something to see.
And they got knocked out of the playoff picture. What a surprise. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are back in.
That was a crazy impressive game by the Seahawks.
Well, they played San Fran. Pump the brakes.
I'm just saying, when you look at Russell Wilson, it's very impressive the year he's having. Very efficient, and their running game is actually carrying them this year.
Yeah.
Like they're not even demanding too much of him. So
well,
I don't know. Seattle's always just been.
It's always the Russell Wilson show late in the fourth quarter. It seems like.
Yeah, definitely. But Seattle's just low key, in my opinion, one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the league this year.
You got the Bears, third place, 8-4. They should win the
Giants
division. I don't think the Vikings have enough in them to do it, to catch up at least. This weekend we got Cowboys Eagles. I think this is going to be the game that decides who's going to win the NFC East.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be the Cowboys.
I think it is too. And then Seahawks and Vikings are the wild card teams. And then in the hunt, Vikings are 6-5-1. So that tie comes up huge right now. Because the Panthers are 6-6, the Eagles are 6-6, the Redskins are 6-6, and falling off the pace now that Colt McCoy is injured.
Mm-hmm.
And the Buccaneers are 5-7. I don't even consider them in the hunt. And then you got the Packers behind them at 4-7-1. They're done too. After a bad loss at home to Arizona. But I think Carolina's starting to fall apart here. You might see 2 teams from the NFC East representing the NFC in the playoffs. You might see the Eagles sneak into a wild card spot if the Vikings can't cling on to theirs.
You might see the Giants.
A possibility.
Wishful thinking.
They beat the Bears. They beat the Bears.
They beat the Bears with their backup quarterback, though.
Yeah.
Giants are 3-1 since their bye week.
Trish, Tony, I know you guys were both at that Giants game.
Trish wasn't there.
I was not. Tony went.
I was there.
Tony was. You want to talk about that at all? Or?
Well, I wanted to leave after the Giants kicked that field goal to make it a 10-point game. Good thing I didn't because the game ended up going to overtime. 10-point lead with 2:30 left. Who would have thought that was going to overtime?
I know.
And you got...
You did.
You called it. I did. You got Odell Beckham making a business decision, not diving after that ball on the onside kick.
Oh, you want to talk about that touchdown he had? Why aren't they starting him at quarterback this year?
He should be the starting quarterback.
Good question.
2 for 2 with 2 touchdowns. Come on.
The argument that you have to ask is who really is the most elite quarterback in this
Odell
league?
Beckham.
Mahomes,
Odell
Watson,
Beckham.
or Beckham?
Odell Beckham has 2 40-yard touchdowns this season. Eli Manning has none.
2 for 2. That's 100% completion.
Yeah, 100% completion rate.
For 2 touchdowns.
And he has 2 touchdowns.
I'm just saying, he really yammed that shit too.
Yeah, I did. He threw it like flat-footed.
Yeah. That guy's a freak athlete. I don't care what anyone says.
It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
But Giants pulled out a win in overtime. Win's a win. Don't care.
Yeah.
They can still get in the playoffs. And if they sneak into the playoffs.
That's a very tentative.
Someone
can
write
still
this
make
down.
it in the playoffs.
8-8.
They make it in the playoffs. They are going to win the Super Bowl.
That's true. And that's a fact.
That it's going to happen. If the Giants can somehow finagle their way in, even if it's the bottom seed, which it would be.
It would be.
If they get in.
At 8-8, we're not seeing a home game here at MetLife
They're
Stadium.
going to beat everyone they play. Who would they play first?
Who would they play first?
Either the Bears or the Cowboys.
They'd beat them.
Oh, if they played the Cowboys, I think that's good.
If they played the Bears, they'd beat them.
Nah.
Yeah.
In Chicago, that's a tough game.
No, they'd beat them.
I think they got a better chance in Dallas.
They'd beat them. They'd beat whoever they play. They'd beat them, then they'd go up and play.
I want the Rams bad, and I'm just saying that because my friend Kyle is a Rams fan. Shout out to my boy Kyle. He's going to be on the podcast here in a few weeks when he gets back from college.
Yeah.
Salem International University Baseball.
Yep.
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 Go Giants.
But, yeah, the Giants, if they get into the playoffs, they're going to win the Super Bowl because this is classic Giants crap. They barely squeak in.
1-7, boom, 8-8. What are you gonna do now, NFL?
It's wild. It's completely wild that they're at where they are.
The Giants do take a quarterback in the draft. I want to take Dwayne Haskins.
Is he
And I know the
declaring?
Giants usually don't take a black quarterback. If he does,
Is he declaring?
Racist.
he might.
Did Herman ever make his decision yet? Because I heard he was like the number one quarterback in the draft.
You mean Herbert?
Whatever the hell his name is.
I don't.
Oregon.
I think he's
quarterback.
leaning toward declaring.
Damn.
Jets are 3-9. Jet fans. Raiders are 2-10. Raider fans.
Giants are 4-8.
I mean, when you want to talk about the other race, the Jets actually took your guys' spot, the Giants, in the draft. We're now in possession of the third pick.
That's
So-
you're lower than the Cardinals.
Yeah, because the Cardinals won.
That doesn't. You're still.
No,
They're
we're
both
ranked.
3-9.
We're ranked third though. I checked.
Well, the Giants are hurting their draft stock, and I don't think they really care about it. And the Giants announced today that they want to get Kyle Luletta in at some point of the season.
Well, Eli has to lose first.
And Pat Shurmur said that'll only happen if the Giants' playoffs push is compromised.
When would you say their push is compromised?
The Raiders currently have the second pick. The 49ers
When
the
they're out
first
of the
pick.
chase.
That's
When they're out of the hunt, their playoff is compromised. But right now,
Mathematically eliminated is when we will see Kyle Luletta.
to all of the Giants, the entire organization, they're a playoff team right now somehow.
Deep
And
in
like
their
I said,
in their hearts.
If they get in, they're going to win.
Giants been hot lately. If I'm a team, I don't know if I want to see the Giants
Listen,
and all their trickery.
I'm saying right now, Odell's gonna end up just throwing some more bombs, getting some more touchdowns.
That's their
Giants are
secret play.
gonna sneak in, just squeak in. Like no one's gonna expect anything from them. They're gonna light up whoever they play in the playoffs. It's not even gonna be close. You're gonna be like, where was this team all year? Then they're gonna go up and just keep winning, win the Super Bowl.
All right, let's move on to the next big news of Week 13, and I only want to touch on this subject. We
This
have
is
to
big.
talk about Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
He cleared waivers yesterday.
Oh,
If a video doesn't get released, Kareem Hunt would have played last week versus Oakland, yes?
yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
This news has actually been out for a long time, since January.
February.
February? Yeah. So.
But now there's a video that somehow the NFL didn't see.
well,
The NFL did their investigating, but didn't interview Hunt or the victim.
Well, apparently the story behind it is the hotel wouldn't give them access to the video.
That was it?
It's apparently part of their customer policy. They're
Yeah.
not allowed to share it, but whatever. So Kareem Hunt, yeah.
Tony has a
waived.
theory on where the NFL got that footage from.
What do you? What is
Tony,
your
would you
theory?
like to
Are
tell
we
the
actually
theory?
acting like Bill Belichick didn't have a hand in this?
That's
Oh no,
That's his
the
theory.
Chiefs are 10-2. Boom, video comes out now.
Video comes out of a man pushing and kicking a woman
Now listen, I'm
who
not.
just
I'm
so
not.
happens
I'm not
to be the starting
accusing the
running back.
Patriots of releasing this video. I'm just saying,
They deflated those balls.
would we put it past them at this point? No.
They deflated those balls. And
So-
he's been caught doing so much other crap. That man cheats every year, and he only admits to it when he gets caught.
What do you think will happen with Kareem Hunt?
He's not playing for at least a year. We'll
You and
have to
I
give
both know that either the Redskins or the Jets are going to pick him up.
The Jets will not pick him up.
The Jets most certainly would pick him up.
They're going to sign Le'Veon Bell, so they're not going to pick him
Le'Veon.
Le'Veon?
Le'Veon?
Le'Veon.
Whoa.
It
The Redskins are going
sounds
to pick
real
him up.
ethnic when I say it.
They're going to have him on their team because they don't care how bad they look. They just want to win. Because look at their...
They got Mark
we heard
Sanchez
what-
at quarterback right
We
now.
heard what Trish had to say about it. Now, I have a way that he's going to get an 8-game suspension. 8-game, commissioner's exempt list. He'll be picked up. He's going to start training camp somewhere. I'm surprised a team didn't pick him up on Monday.
Well, he's still on the exempt list.
Yeah, but
so,
just to have him on your roster, he's still under contract next season. I gotta assume he plays at least one game next season.
That's true. Yeah, now he's an unrestricted free agent, correct?
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Anybody can pick him up. This has Oakland Raiders screaming all over it, if you ask me. A player who's in legal trouble.
That's true.
Boom, Raiders. John Gruden, I'm surprised, already isn't on a plane to KC.
Maybe he is. Well, is he even in KC anymore?
I don't know. I heard he was kicked out of the KC facility, though, that day.
Really? Oh, wow.
They said, you've just been put on the commissioner's exempt list. You need to leave now.
Yeah, Kansas City found out at the same time as us and everyone
But
else
Kansas
in
City
the
was
Wild.
aware of the situation.
They were aware,
They've been aware since
but
February.
not of
Everybody
the
knew
existence
about
of the
it.
video, apparently.
The video doesn't matter. They knew what he did. They
Yeah.
knew he pushed her. They knew he kicked her.
No,
they
but
didn't
he lied.
care.
No, he lied about it.
He completely lied.
All right, just because he lied doesn't mean they didn't know.
Well, that's why
mean,
KC said they cut him.
I mean, if he
Because
lied,
he wasn't truthful to the organization.
That's just like saying when they went to the GOAT Brady and they said, "Hey, we need to see your phone," and he went, "Oh, I blended."
Yeah.
Why'd you blend?
This is a little more serious than that.
I understand. He beat a woman, and that is completely unforgivable. Now, there were rumors that she said the N-word to him several times. That was what they were reporting.
That's still no excuse.
That's no excuse to hit a woman. You call for hotel security and say, please get this woman removed. She's screaming profanities at me, and I want her charged with a hate crime. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, none of us are black, so we can't really talk about what hearing that word does to you mentally. But it's still, no matter what is said, you'd never hit a woman. Especially when you're an NFL player who all you do all day is lift and get huge, and you're that big. Mm-hmm. You don't lay your hands on somebody like that.
Ever, and especially in the case of an NFL player, like you're saying.
I just want to throw one more little nugget out there. I heard this on Dan Le Batard yesterday. What if it was Patrick Mahomes who did this?
Ooh.
I'd still be just as mad.
I would be too, but would the Chiefs cut him?
That's the question. That's why I'm oohing.
Now,
No
what
way.
if somebody like Aaron Rodgers did this?
Everyone would forgive him immediately, and then they'd call that woman a liar, just like when Big Ben raped that woman
There's
in the
video.
bathroom.
There was not video of Ben doing any of that.
There is pictures of Big Ben coming out of that bathroom.
But there's
and
not
then
video.
that girl coming out later on. Big Ben looked like a giant drunken idiot when he came out of that bathroom. Everybody knows what went down in that bathroom. Everybody knows Big Ben raped that girl, and no one cares because it's Big Ben.
All right, let's go to the last bit of information from Week 13 that really kind of turned the NFL on its head, but kind of didn't. Mike McCarthy fired as the head coach of the Green Bay Packers.
That was
Everyone
within
saw this
10
coming.
minutes of them
You
losing.
can't lose to Arizona at home and expect not to be fired. This came as a total shock to Mike McCarthy somehow.
That was the first time the Packers have lost to the Cardinals at home since 1969.
You know why? Because the Cardinals have been perennially bad since 1969.
Oh, man.
I
A
don't
rookie
think-
quarterback, too.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's a shock to anybody. Aaron Rodgers apparently has been having big problems with Mike
Well,
McCarthy.
I heard this on ESPN from their one of their people who work on the Countdown show, or their regular NFL Live show, Jeff Saturday, former center in the NFL. And he said there'd be times Mike McCarthy call a play, and you'd see Aaron Rodgers' eyes roll in the huddle.
I believe it.
Hands on hips, just, why am I running this play?
Because Aaron Rodgers is a smart quarterback, and he knows.
Now, the Packers have come out and said they're not gonna let Aaron Rodgers just choose their head coach.
Yeah.
Yes, he is.
Like, why wouldn't they?
Why?
Yes, he is.
Why not?
It's going to have to.
Aaron Rodgers is the LeBron of that team.
Like,
He is the coach.
I think it should be. I think Lincoln Riley, coach of Oklahoma, is going to have a decision to make here. Now, it says there are no plans for him to leave Oklahoma, but there are 2 head coaching positions currently open.
Now,
Cleve-
what about...
Cleveland and Green Bay. He coached Baker Mayfield in college.
That's interesting.
There must be some kind of allure there to leave and go coach him in the pros. Now, you say you won't leave Oklahoma, but would you leave it for Aaron Rodgers?
I mean, if you don't leave for, one of the top maybe 5 quarterbacks of all time, I think you're kind of...
Yeah, the
You're
best
missing
quarterback
out.
skill-wise in the NFL right now.
Exactly. And it's a pretty, they're in a pretty good position. I mean, the Packers are never, stacked in talent. They haven't been
Well,
stacked in a
that's the
while.
problem. It's the front office not giving Aaron what he needs. Do we know if Devontae Adams is that good of a wide receiver, or is Aaron Rodgers making him that good? Because we saw this with James Jones. James Jones was a very good wide receiver in Green Bay. He left. He was a Raider. He was a Giant. He did nothing.
Rodgers has that effect on whoever he's throwing to.
We're also seeing it now with Jordy Nelson. Granted, he's been hurt. Is he that good without Rodgers?
That's because Aaron Rodgers can pick a spot anywhere in the field
And throw it
the
to
ball.
Bingo.
accurately.
Imagine he had a wide receiver like Odell.
That
Oh,
would be
man.
wild. He could throw the ball anywhere he wanted. He could throw it way over Odell's head. Odell, all he has to do is go up and catch it. Because Aaron Rodgers is the most accurate quarterback pretty much ever.
Well, right now they named Joe Philbin the interim head coach. Joe Philbin's the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins. It's not going to last. He's not going to get the job.
That's going to be bad.
Bruce Arians' name has been thrown around. John Harbaugh's name has been thrown around. I believe you're going to see a coach from college be the next coach there. I don't believe McDaniels is going to leave New England. Even though it is Rodgers he's leaving for, I don't think he's going to leave.
What about the Michigan head coach?
Yeah, that's Harbaugh.
Oh, is that?
Yeah, he used to be the coach of the San Francisco 49ers.
Let me ask you
Yeah.
this.
And when Todd Bowles gets fired, Mike McCarthy's going to be the next head coach of the New York Jets.
That was my next question. Where, if anywhere, do you
The
see
Jets.
Mike McCarthy?
The Jets.
You think?
Yes.
I was
Giants.
thinking the Browns.
Why? No, he's going to go to the Jets. The Jets are going to throw money at him.
No, please.
Same way they did it to Parcells. And I'm not comparing Mike McCarthy to Bill
Bill
Parcells.
Parcells.
No, I'm just saying they both won a Super Bowl.
That's true.
And the Jets love that. Oh, you want a Super Bowl somewhere? Come here. Maybe we can do it here. Even though we know you can't.
I mean, I still think McCarthy,
Come try.
with the right team, he could still. I just think he
Please.
needs.
We wear green. The Packers wore green.
You see what I'm talking
You
about
can just
here?
pretend like you're at home. Like you don't even
Listen,
gotta-
we're just going to put a little Jet sticker over your
Just pretend Sam
Packers
is.
logo on your windbreaker. Nobody's going to know the friggin' difference.
You're fine.
Just pretend
Just
Sam
come
is
play here.
Rodgers.
But I think McCarthy's going to be the Jets head coach.
I mean, I think that he could do good in another team. It just depends on. He's only going to be as good as his offensive coordinators around him. I don't think he can take control on that anymore.
We
He
got
can't be in
anything
charge of
else?
play calling.
We got anything else from Week 13 we want to touch on here?
Nope.
13, not.
I got one more thing for you.
What do you got to
Tom
say?
Brady became an 1,000-yard rusher. He has 1,000 rushing yards in his career now.
Lamar
It took
Jackson
him.
coming
It
for the
took him
record.
265 games.
Good for him.
Now I know they play different positions, but it took Eric Dickerson 8 games to reach 1,000 yards.
Okay, but he's not a rusher.
I understand.
He sits back in the pocket.
I understand, but
He
just
gets 10 years to throw
I'm
the
just
ball,
saying that
and he throws the ball.
that-
He doesn't need a rush anymore.
I'm just saying that the
I understand.
Okay, just imagine if the Patriots had Lamar Jackson instead. How many yards would he be rushing for?
He wouldn't.
Yes,
Any
he would.
quarterback could
No,
sit behind
Lamar
Matt
Jackson will
long.
be running
That's just stupid. Why would you run?
because
When
it's
you
Lamar
have-
Jackson.
Lamar
When you
Jackson.
have that much time behind your O-line, because their O-line is ridiculous. When you watch Brady, he's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong.
Because he has so much time.
But that's because he has so much time to sit there. He's an average quarterback if you put him on any other team.
Oh.
He's a
He's
He's a system
Wow.
quarterback, but he's still
No. You put him
Incredible.
on the Giants, he's not going to do nearly as well. You put him on any line, behind any O-line that doesn't stand up as long as his team does, he doesn't do nearly as well.
Maybe Brady now, in the twilight of his career, but
Even Brady, when anytime he's won a Super Bowl, it's been behind a great O-line. He owes a lot of his passing ability to his O-line. Because I've seen plays where he sits back for 10 seconds, 11 seconds, where he's just sitting there looking around, waiting for someone to get open. And
Michael
then he
Vick-
finds it and picks
Michael
it
Vick
and
is the
throws it.
all-time leader in rushing yards by a quarterback with 6,100. That is ridiculous.
Of course
Wow.
he is.
Cam Newton's third,
Russell
highest
Wilson
active.
is sixth.
Yeah, with 3,600. Cam Newton has 4,300. John Elway had 3,400. That's
Look at
ridiculous.
Russell Wilson, 36.
Yeah.
How many Cam Newton's leading in touchdowns.
54.
Michael Vick once ran for 1,000 yards in the season.
Damn.
That's ridiculous.
Different teams, different time.
Nope.
Player.
No, they played the same way. That game hasn't changed that much since then.
Yeah. Wait, what year was that?
2006.
2006,
Jesus.
different teams.
Robert Griffin III ran for 815 yards with Washington.
RG3, baby.
That's ridiculous. But Michael Vick stands to be the
Michael
only.
Vick's on there twice.
Michael Vick's on there 3 times.
Oh, Jesus.
Michael Vick's the only single season 1,000-yard rushing quarterback.
Didn't RG3 get minutes in that Vikings game? Or no? The
Yeah,
Ravens
because
game?
Lamar
Ravens
Jackson
game?
was out for a few minutes in concussion protocol.
Cam Newton's also on there 3 times.
He is. One of them being last season.
consecutively.
8, 9, and 10 is Cam Newton with 754, 741, and 706.
Good for you, Cam.
Cam Newton holds the most rushing touchdowns in the season with 14.
It's funny to hear a quarterback talking about Russian.
All right, let's move on to our Week 14 picks. I am currently in the lead here at 11-5. Trish is 8-8. John, 10-6.
I'm gonna win.
We got a decent slate of games this week. Starts off Thursday night football on Fox.
All right, here we go.
At 8:20, the Jacksonville Jaguars are in Tennessee to take on the Titans. John, who's gonna win that game?
The Titans. No doubt.
Trish?
I'm gonna go with the Titans as well.
Remember the Titans?
Nice job.
John, shut up with your remember the Titans. I'm going to take... This game has the potential to be just as bad as that Colts game was. I think Cody Kessler's still... Leonard Fournette's back. I'm taking the Jags. So you both took the Titans?
I took
Yep.
the Titans.
So, Titans, Jags. John, read the next game for me.
Jets at Bills. Who do you got, Tony?
I got the Bills.
How about you, Trish?
I'm gonna take the Jets.
Uh,
Jets.
That's
Jet,
1 o'clock
Jets.
on CBS.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills.
Trish, read us the next game there, buddy.
It's gonna be Giants Redskins.
Giants at Redskins. 1 o'clock on Fox. Mark
In
Sanchez, the
Washington.
projected starting quarterback. John,
wow.
we'll start with you.
Giants.
Trish?
I'm gonna say Giants.
I'm also going to go with the Giants. We have the Giants across the board, which means bet the house on Washington. Next game, 1 o'clock on Fox. The Saints into Tampa Bay to take on, unfortunately, Jameis Winston and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Put Fitzmagic in. He wins games.
Trish, who do you got?
If Fitzmagic plays, the Buccaneers.
But
He's not
he's
playing.
not playing.
Buccaneers.
You're putting Bucks
He
regardless?
took the Bucks. John?
You're going to have to go with the Saints.
Yeah, I got to go with the Saints, too. There's no way the Bucks win this game.
That's what you said about last week.
What about the Cowboys? Oh, man.
That was a fluke.
All right.
1 o'clock on CBS, the New England Patriots travel down to Miami.
Yeah, that's a win for the Dolphins right there.
Really?
Really?
Have you ever seen the Patriots play in Florida? Dude, it's
I'm
actually...
speechless. Have you seen Ryan Tannehill?
No, I'm saying it's a thing. Like, I'm superstitious when it comes to this shit. The Patriots lose every time they go down to Miami or Jacksonville. Like, you can look. There's like a record for this shit. They lose a lot.
When was the last time the Patriots won in Miami? What? I don't think... John, what do you...
I'm telling you.
Don't tell
They're
me
not-
anything. It's just...
I could be talking out my ass, but I have a good feeling about this.
John doesn't even freaking know.
John doesn't know. In the 2010s, the Patriots are 13-4 against Miami.
In
But-
Miami?
Against Miami
see.
this
Let's
season.
See. Show the results. He's on Wikipedia, by the way, everyone.
At yeah, okay.
This could be edited.
Miami has won 4 out of the last 5 matchups in Miami.
I told you.
I'm still taking the Patriots. John, you're set on the Dolphins, huh?
You know what?
I'm
You know
gonna-
what?
I'm
You
gonna
know
do
what?
it.
I'm with John. Dolphins.
Dolphins all the way.
I'm taking the Pats.
All right. Well, we'll see you
We'll
when
see.
you're Owen. Whatever.
Nope.
Yep.
No, you won't.
Yeah, we will.
Next game, 1 o'clock on CBS. We got the Ravens at the first place Chiefs. This could be an interesting one.
Yeah, that's actually a good one to.
Baltimore
look
has a
out for.
solid defense.
I don't think so. Kansas City Chiefs.
Trish just outright took the Chiefs. Not even
I had
tickling
energy
our
in this.
imaginations that this could be a close game.
There is no imagination. The Kansas City
Nah,
Chiefs going
I
to
mean-
destroy the Baltimore Ravens.
I'll still take the Chiefs.
Yes,
on
I'm
this
still
one.
taking the Chiefs. I'm just
Oh,
saying it could be a
this
lot
could
closer
This
than
could
people
be
think.
interesting.
Don't be
No.
surprised though if the Ravens win.
I will be. I will be shocked.
Lamar Jackson's undefeated in his career so far. Just saying. 1 o'clock on CBS. We got the Colts into Houston to take on the Texans. Oh, is this the crippling blow dealt to the Colts' playoff chances?
I think so.
Yeah, you
Texans.
I got the Texans as well.
I'm going to
10
go
straight.
Colts.
Trish has the
I
Colts.
think Andrew Luck is too nice to lose this game.
Yeah, but Deshaun Watson, man.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson isn't going to do crap against Andrew Luck.
Well,
Yeah, they're going to be out there at
evidence
the same
is
time
close.
together.
I know they won't, but that doesn't matter.
1 o'clock on
Andrew
Fox.
Luck's going to be on the sideline waving, going, "Hey, buddy, you're doing a great job." And then he's going to be like, "What?" And just throw a pick out of nowhere.
Great sack.
1 o'clock.
Yeah, I love that. He gets hit. He's like, "Nice hit, buddy." And the guy just feels bad. Like, there are defensemen who don't like hitting Andrew Luck because of how nice he is.
Did you see what Jalen Ramsey did to him?
No.
No, I didn't.
Andrew Luck's laying down on the field. Jalen Ramsey holds out his hand. And then when Andrew Luck reaches for it, he pulls back.
How could you be that mean to someone so nice?
Ramsey's
I
an
bet
asshole.
Andrew Luck laughed about it.
Probably. He probably went,
That was a good
nice
one.
job, buddy.
That was a
He's
good
got
one,
that really
Jalen.
deep voice for
You
no
got
reason.
me.
All right.
1 o'clock on
ridiculous
Fox.
deep
The
voice.
Atlanta Falcons are into the Joe Philbin-led Green Bay Packers.
I gotta go Packers because it's Aaron Rodgers led, not whatever coach they have interim. Aaron Rodgers is gonna call every play of that game, and that game is going to be immaculate.
John.
Yeah, Packers. Rodgers is gonna go full LeBron on this Packers team.
Yes, he
I'm
is.
gonna take the Pack. Do the Packers play the Jets next year? God, I hope so. When Mike McCarthy's the coach of the
I
Jets,
You're just acting like it's already happened.
it is gonna happen.
Yeah.
You
but
It's
say
it's
that.
total
happened.
Jets move.
Okay.
It is the Jets, so
Now we got the last 1 o'clock game. The Panthers are in Cleveland. John, who do you like this game? Panthers reeling. I believe they have 3 straight losses.
Who's their head coach? Ron Rivera. He's on the hot seat. Last I heard,
Ron Rivera.
He's
Riviera.
on the
Racist.
whatever. He's on the hot seat regardless. So I think they're gonna need to come out and win this game if they want to even hope to stay alive in the playoffs. So I'll take the Panthers.
Trish?
I'm gonna take the Browns. I think the Panthers are done this season. They haven't been doing much. They've just been getting smacked around by every team that plays them.
I think the Browns are going to win this game, too. Browns
Guess
have
we'll
been
see.
kind of decent as of late.
And the Browns got to show.
Panthers are just god-awful lately. So
That
it
they're
all
a
started with
good
that
team.
loss in Pittsburgh. First 4 or 5 game of the day, we got the Broncos in San Fran to take on the Niners. Trish?
Broncos gonna blow the 49ers out of the water.
John?
Not so hot on the Niners anymore, Trish.
Sadly, no.
Yeah, I'll take the Broncos as well.
I'm going to take the Broncos as well. The Nick Mullins magic has worn off.
It was there for like
What
2
a
games.
what a game that lasted.
It was wild.
He didn't even play that bad against Seattle.
I mean,
It's just Seattled,
Yeah.
really.
all right,
They're starting to get real hot, Seattle. 4:05 again. We got what's his name? Jeff Driscoll led Cincinnati Bengals
Bengals.
against
Colm
the
O'Driscoll.
LA Chargers.
Damn O'Driscolls. I'm gonna take the Chargers. The Chargers are red hot, coming off that win in Pittsburgh, and yeah.
Philly. Right.
What's the difference? They both suck.
What's the difference?
Trish, who are you taking?
I'm gonna take the Chargers.
Okay, good, because I already wrote that down.
What?
I'm taking the Chargers as well.
Such a jerk.
4:25 on Fox. We got the Lions in Arizona to take on the 3-9 Cardinals.
It's gonna be a bad game.
Arizona might be feeling hot after that game against Green Bay.
Nope. Lions.
I'm
gonna
taking the Cardinals at home.
win. Wow,
Really?
John?
Yeah.
What a guy.
Yeah, I'll take the Cardinals.
I'm
Fuck
already
it.
taking the Lions.
I don't like the Lions.
Said it. I don't like the Lions either, but they have a Devils player on their team,
No, they don't.
Drew Stafford.
4:25 on Fox. The Steelers are at the black hole to take on the Raiders.
Steelers gonna win.
Yeah, this game shouldn't be close, right?
No.
Although that
Nope.
Chiefs Raider game was close. That was 40-33.
You don't know what
Steelers
Raiders
gonna
you're gonna get any game. So.
Yes, you do. You're gonna get the bad Raiders. The Raiders team that's won 2 games. That's the
Okay.
Raiders team you're gonna get. I've
Depends-
seen it since the Raiders one of the best first half teams in football. It's too bad it's the second half. I believe the first game of the season they played the Rams. That game was close at the half. Yeah,
Yeah.
2-10.
All right. So yeah, take the Steelers.
John's taking Steel City. Trish, you said Steelers too, right?
Yep.
I'm gonna take the Steelers too. No need to go out on a limb there and take John Gruden. John Gruden, who, for some reason, after a scoring play with less than 2 minutes left in the half, threw the challenge flag. Why? What was? He said it was to give New York more time to look at the play. They would have reviewed it anyway if it looked that close.
It's
You
advanced.
just wasted a timeout.
It's advanced tanking, man.
Yeah, throw the challenge flag when you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
Just waste a timeout. 4:25 on Fox, the last 4 o'clock game of the day. Eagles at Jerry World to take on the Cowboys. NFC East matchup. I believe this is for the division. John, who do you got?
The Dallas Cowboys.
Yeehaw.
Yeah. I do not see the Eagles.
I don't believe they win this game either. Trish, you took the Cowboys, right?
Nope.
You took the Eagles?
Taking the
Yep.
Eagles?
Yep.
Trish is taking the Eagles.
The Eagles.
And last game on Sunday Night Football on NBC. The Rams into Soldier Field to take on the Chicago Bears. Hopefully the Bears get Trubisky back. I believe if they do, it could be a game. John, who you taking?
Last I saw, it's doubtful that Trubisky's coming back. So I'm gonna go with the Rams.
Trish taking the Rams?
The Rams.
The Rams.
I'll take the Rams as well.
John, you understand it's supposed to be the Bears.
Then the last game, Monday Night Football, ESPN, Vikings at the Seahawks.
What happened to I'm gonna Vike it, Tony?
They lost 24-10.
Yes, they did.
And surprise, surprise, Kirk Cousins did not throw for 450 yards like I projected.
You're gonna Vike it. Well, I'm gonna go with the Seahawks on this one because they're the hot team.
He doesn't Vike it either.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks as well.
Oh,
Russell
someone's
Wilson
not
show.
Viking it this
Not
week.
against the hot Seahawks. Seahawks team starting to give me flashbacks to that team that won the Super Bowl.
That'd be wild. I'd be okay with that. Unless the Giants.
Well, that
squeak
concludes
in.
our picks for Week 14. It also
Yeah.
concludes our 3rd episode, gentlemen. We're moving on up in the world. We're getting
Rolling.
there.
We're rolling.
You can now listen to us on iTunes. That was
Yeah.
the big announcement of the day.
Yep.
We're also
still-
on YouTube.
We're on
We're on YouTube?
iTunes, YouTube. We're on Google. We're on SoundCloud. Just check us out anywhere, man. Just look us up on Google. You'll find us.
I'm going to
Tell
end
everyone.
this episode like we end every episode with some hot takes.
I'm a hot.
John, give us a hot take for this week.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that the Vikings are gonna be down 21-0 at halftime.
Wow. Wow.
That's my bold prediction.
Okay. Trish,
My hot take is that the Devils are going to win their entire road trip.
3 games. California trip swept.
Yep.
How about you, Tony?
You could have made that one Thursday. None of the games until Friday.
Well, all right. Then I'll make one about football if that's what you want.
No, it doesn't matter.
All right.
My prediction concerns Thursday night football.
Okay.
I believe you will see Blake Bortles in that game at some point. Cody Kessler's not going to play that whole game against Tennessee.
Are you Blake Bortles?
So Kessler gets the starting job. Bortles comes in
Well,
at some point.
Kessler started last week.
So you think they're gonna roll with that this week because they won?
Yeah, definitely. They're going to start Cody Kessler, but I think by halftime he'll be out of that game because I think Tennessee's going to have their way with him.
All right, yeah.
All right, we want to thank everybody again for listening, giving us those follows on Facebook and SoundCloud and every other medium you can find us on. And Trish, you want to say goodbye to the audience?
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
John, I'm actually going to let you say goodbye to him this week.
Until next time.
Kidding.